Hey everybody, BTFTMC 1984 here again, and today I'm going to be talking about Hot Wheels track sets, especially something new for 2014. The new Hot Wheels Workshop straight track set, a 3-foot straight track with improved track connectors. It is part of the new track system, a workshop system that's coming out from Mattel and Hot Wheels that started hitting the shelves late 2013, and there's going to be new systems, new sets, but this one is interesting because of a new accessory. It now has improved track connectors, and I'll also show off how they've changed over the last few years. So, okay, now to the package. Let's see how the new track connectors look. Now, history. Here is how the tracks connectors have looked since about 1968. Same design. They've changed colors over the years. They've improved a few things here and there, but it's basically been the same little connector for years, over 40 years. Then about a few years ago, as tracks were starting to sophisticate, they started adding little notches on the track, like this wall tracks set of tracks, and having this little hole here needed new connectors because some of the track sets were now requiring certain angles for the track, and also they needed to be connected in and locked in so the track wouldn't fall off. So they made these little shorter ones. Since about 2011, about 2012, 2011 is the copyright on this, was 2011 for the wall tracks, and it's basically slid in to the little hole. And the old track, which is basically hasn't changed in years, they slid in. You'd go to a certain length, and then you would slide it into another piece of track, like so. Now, when they first got the tracks, they were nice and stiff. I mean, they weren't moving, but as years and wear goes on, after a car comes through a few times, like on an oval track or down a hill track that hasn't been really stabilized, the track actually starts separating. You'd have to always stop when the car goes flinging off, push it back together, and hope. And that's kind of what the little that little notch did, was trying to help it. But as you can see, even with that notch, it's still, this section it was connecting to was still going to wobble out. Well, in 2013, 2014, they've now introduced this new tab. It's got a little small section. It's a little bit smaller than the original, wherever it went to. It's a bit smaller, about almost half the length, about it, you know, give or take a little bit. But it's now got two notches and this little circular thing. That is because you can slide it in to one end of the track, locks in, and then now you could slide the second part of the track into the other end. Now they lock in, and they're virtually not, there's going to be a little bit of gap, but that's going to happen, but it's not a big gap where it's going to keep stretching and stretching. And now this little button, you just push this little button down, which is a little trigger. It's a little trigger, there you go. A little trigger to help release the track, so you're not having to push or pull up and damage the track. Which is really, really nice. So that means now you can make your downhill tracks with these new tracks and have it where it's not going to fall off. And they work with all types of accessories. So you can still be able, even the old stuff, are able to slide this new track in. It's the same length as the original track, or same width. Lengthwise, it has changed. Compared to a regular track, it kind of got short. They kind of trimmed it up a tad bit. As you can see, it's full side, so they kind of trimmed it up a little bit. So I guess it's probably give or take for the new connectors, but it still works even with the old connection pieces. You can still slide those in. They're still going to work just fine. And just had it. It's probably still connected. There it goes. Now if you just pull off this one, which didn't have any kind of release button, it kind of sat there. So you'll still be able to use, kinda, I think. No, I think that lip's gonna, no. It's gonna be a little bit difficult, but you're still gonna be able to use it for these track connectors. I'm not sure if it's gonna really work too well. It should. With the older tracks, I don't have any of those tracks that need that little clearance section. But if you look at probably where the holes are gonna line up from the tracks to tracks, so yeah, they're still gonna work for your tracks that require the holes to be put in. And speaking of old, why not actually prove it if they actually will work on the oldest of old? This is an original 1968 booster. I'll get into this in a video later on, but let's see. Let's see if you have one of these old boosters working. Come on. See, I'm trying to be delicate as I can because these things are extremely old and very fidgety. I don't want to end up breaking the tab. Okay, because this is my first. They are going to fit. They will fit in your original Hot Wheels accessory, like this old booster, and also an old finish gate. Let's see if it slides in. Kind of slides in, but be warned. I guess now looking at it, it's gonna warp it. So yeah, it might not be a smart idea to put it into a booster. Let's see one that's not been warped out. Okay, so it'll slide into the old like accessory like the start gate, but it's not recommended for the original booster. And another thing that's also nice now, that if it stretches out, which these tracks are going to do with time, pulling and unpulling it, is that these new connectors are basically going to have it where it doesn't matter. You can stretch it unless this little part right here snaps or breaks off. You're not going to be able to really lose. It's not going to loosen up too much. So it'll, it's going to have a little bit of give and take. It's got to have some wiggle room as it stretches, especially in maybe warm and cold climates. If you're using it outside, plastics are going to stretch, they're going to warp, so this is going to help out those tremendously. Now, the biggest question is that little nub right there. Will it affect the placement of a car? Okay, we have a Trackstar car. These little, what is this saying? Bulletproof, and it's a track system car because you can tell by that little symbol right there. Let's see how it's gonna work. No problem, it drives right over the nub. It's got enough clearance. Now let's try something that's gonna have a little bit lower clearance, like this Ford Fiesta. Is it Fiesta? Yeah, Fiesta race car. Let's see. How does that little nub affect it? Not too much. It has enough clearance. Doesn't feel run straight. Pan it down. Straight. It's still gonna work. There's no real binding. It's not gonna slow enough so it's gonna smoothly pass over it. So you can make a long track. Have your lowest cars. Now some might not work because, like the package is, might not work for all Hot Wheels accessories. So if you have another set, you can always test out how the old finish gate worked. See, trying to do this and look at the camera at the same time. Not working. So let's see quickly. And just for giggles, let's put the wall tracks set on it. And let's see. Oh. And now I'm taking some time. Oh, there it goes. So you can see it's still going to work. There's not going to be any problem with using older track accessories, new track accessories for it. Like I said, you might want to, you know, be warned about if you have an old 60s booster. That might not be the wisest decision because, let's face it, these things are over 40 years old. They're going to break, so you might not want to risk it. And speaking of boosters, I do have a more modern. Let's see how they will fit on a modern day booster. Let's see, get it in the little tab things. Said brand new tracks are going to be kind of crunched a little bit, so it's going to take a little bit of, but yeah, you can use it in your booster, and they are going to have new boosters coming out, so it might be a little bit narrower for the connector, so be on the lookout for that. I will get one of those and do that video too. Let's see, because I do want to do a comparison between this and the new one, the multi-speed. So I hope you all enjoy that. Now these new track sets, workshops, are available at Target, Walmart, I think Kmart, Toys R Us is probably going to be carrying them. Target, I found them for $1.99, so you get a 3-foot track for $2. So that's not too bad. That's basically less than $1 per foot. That means, you know, you can get the little accessories. All you need, you know, go to Toys R Us, get one of the clamp sets, and there you go. You can play Hot Wheels to your heart contents. Just put it on the little clamp system. Put it on the little clamp system. Joy's doing one takes, right? And then just let it go. So I hope you enjoyed that video. So be on the lookout for the new Hot Wheels Workshop sets at stores near you. So take care. Bye-bye.